Now for more on the recent escalation in the Syrian conflict, I'm joined now by Mann Leverett. She is a professor at American University and an author. And Hillary, I was watching the news conference with President Obama last week, and it seemed almost tortured. And all I can think about, and I want to get your thoughts on this, is the ghost of Iraq past. I mean, weapons of mass destruction, it's real easy to say they're out there, but it's really kind of difficult to trace all this stuff, isn't it?
It's extremely difficult. And the prime example is in the 1990s. There was a sarin terrorist attack in the Tokyo subway system, and a lot of people died. But they only had to close the subway system for a couple of hours. The sarin gas evaporates so quickly they were able to open it the next day to massive traffic within the subway system. So it's something extremely difficult to verify. But politically, it is the one point where American policymakers, whether they're Republican or Democrat, think they can get consensus for U.S. intervention in a country. So then Deputy Secretary of Defense Paul Wolfowitz put it about Iraq, that some of the reason why we used weapons of mass destruction as the reason to go into Iraq was that was the consensus that we could get agreement, not only within the United States, but even beyond the United States. So here too, President Obama, and now his aides are telling the New York Times they had nothing to do with it, it was just President Obama on his own, put out that the red line for the United States to get involved militarily would be if the Assad government used chemical weapons. So that's why we're so focused on it, not because it actually has led to that many more deaths, but because that's the politically convenient way to trigger increased military intervention.
But muddying the water is now, there's talk that it may have been the rebels,
Exactly.
And as you said, this gas is gone like that.
Right.
Who did it is a big question, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, it will probably be impossible at this point to determine who did it, but this is something very, very important. A lot of other countries that have not supported Assad because they like him or what he's doing, but they really support this principle of non-interference and sovereignty for countries, whether that's Iran, Russia, or China. They've not supported Assad because they're best friends with him, but because these principles of sovereignty and non-interference actually mean something when you don't know who the players are in a country, and you really have no business trying to micromanage who leads these countries. So here, we have determined, many Americans here in our foreign policy elite, that it had to be the Assad government who would do this because we don't like it. Well, among the rebels, among these rebel militias, they have openly said that they're with al-Qaeda. Many of them have officially on their website say they've joined al-Qaeda in Iraq and merged into one organization. And then we're shocked that they may be charged with chemical weapons use. It's a very messy, bloody conflict, and U.S. foreign policy elites should really take some caution in getting more involved.
Well, in the Lebanese civil war, I was looking back, it went from 1975 to 1990. These
Right.
things have a way of just kind of festering and kind of continuing.
Yes.
They're, as you said, there's no real easy solution. What about this becoming a wider conflict with Israel and the strikes?
Mm-hmm.
We know Lebanon has, in many cases, could be drawn in as well. I mean, there's a lot going on in this region.
Yes, and one of the reasons why the Lebanese civil war was so long and why the Syrian civil war is likely to be long too is you're dealing with a country that has a lot of different sects and religions and ethnicities. So it's a really multi-confessional society, and this really is a civil war pitting sect and different ethnicity against each other. And what happens is outside parties are coming in not because they're trying to Saudi Arabia is not intervening there because it wants to set up a secular liberal democracy in Syria. They're intervening on the part of their sect, and so are some of the other countries, which just fuels the fire and fuels the conflict. So it's something that if you don't have negotiations, you don't have a political goal at the end of the day for power sharing, for a real political resolution, it is likely just to get more bloody and spread to Iraq, to Lebanon, to Israel, and to other places.
A lot of actors there. Mann Leverett, thank you so much for coming in and offering your insights. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.